group, I'd ask that you accompany Lisa. Well, you know, this is a great day. It really is. And I did a lot of reading on the resurrection and Easter and so on. And yeah, it wasn't a whole lot inspirational, I've got to be honest, coming to me. But in thinking about this, and this morning at our sunrise service, yes, I was up early and got there. It was actually quite interesting and unique at the same time. Because the first person to the tomb that early morning, breaking all of the rules of conduct, let's say, is Mary Magdalene walking by herself to the tomb. And what she sees and what she experiences is really amazing. And if you read the article in the newspaper this week, actually I was going to use that as my homily, but Pauline told me I couldn't. You know, she gets back and she's trying to explain everything and no one believes her, right? And then finally she gets exasperated and says, "You men, what's the matter with you? This is a great occurrence and you're humming and hawing." And so finally she begins to get the ball rolling. And that radical Jesus, whom I love even more because he's a radical. Love radicals. Love that Jesus guy. Because you know what he does? Even in his resurrection, he breaks the rules, the norms. Because his resurrection is first proclaimed by a woman. Pretty neat. As a matter of fact, gentlemen in the group this morning, as I looked out down at the beach today, 7-ish a.m., who did I see from our congregation? Women. That's wonderful. You know, I'm not saying that to embarrass the Landry men.
I'll be a better word, buddy.
Or anyone else for that matter. No, it just kind of struck me. It's really interesting that within our congregation, here we are, you know, 2,000 years later, give or take some time, and we're mimicking that occurrence ourselves. And I think this whole story is so amazing. Now here is Jesus rising from the dead, according to all of the predictions and all of the prophecies. It's all there in the Bible. Many of them are there. And this new life is celebrated in the way he lived his life on earth. That everyone is welcome to the kingdom. Jesus doesn't rise from the dead for just the Jews, the promised people, the chosen people. He doesn't just rise from the dead for the scholarly men or the religious men. He doesn't just rise from the dead for the immediate followers. It's for everyone. It's for each one of you. You look around, each one of us. It's for me. And he welcomed the Gentiles into his gathering, his large family. He welcomed the Samaritans who were the outcasts. And in some of the readings I was doing, I came across some strange stuff. I read that, you know, the only people really who will be saved will be those who are the Christians. And that troubles me, of course. And I think of Jesus and the Gentiles. And he didn't go and say, don't talk to the Gentiles, they can't be saved, they're not of us. It's the very opposite. And this man who lived his message of love, I do not believe would exclude somebody. He didn't exclude on the basis of wealth. He didn't exclude on the basis of gender, of knowledge, of position or rank in society. In fact, it's the very opposite. Jesus was inclusive. And so that's what he brings to the world. You know, I know some wonderful Muslims that in eternity I'd be happy to continue to know. Great and wonderful people. I don't see how Jesus would exclude them. I know a lot of wonderful Christians of different denominations and faiths. And as someone once said to me, you know, when we reach the portals and the questions asked to us won't be, what church did you go to? It would probably be, were you a good person? And there's a lot more to being a good person than trying to pick the right church. Being a good person is pretty challenging. And so as I think of our congregation and our journey to this point, it really fits the model of the early Christians. One of the pastors this morning talked about how the early Christians worshiped in each other's homes because they were a small group, and one of the keys to worship was getting together and celebrating with food and celebrating the life of Jesus because it included everybody. You see, everybody could go. That's magnificent. It's everybody. Now that's something. And obviously, the resurrection of Easter is something that's very, very special. You're probably thinking, oh man, he says this every once in a while. Yeah, there's a lot of special stuff, which is, again, part of the greatness. But this is spectacular. And as I mentioned in the article, I'll close with that today. That student said to me, you know, in talking about the resurrection and the days afterwards, so Mr. McGuire, this Jesus could appear at will to people, yeah, and disappear, yeah. Well, how great is that? Which is, of course, a young person's number one way of saying this is really great. How great is that? And it is truly great. And if you need even further proof of it, I think pretty much every Sunday when we gather together, there's a great spirit that fills us here. How great is that?